welcome back to the studio tonight. So tonight we are going to paint some orange lilies. I don't know what is attracting me to these flowers, but I think they're fantastic. They're unbelievably beautiful. Maybe it's because I like orange, I don't know. But tonight we're going to try and paint some of these. I've quickly sketched some out on my paper here beforehand to save a little time. Just a rough, quick sketch. And I'm going to be using my Primo Watercolors travel kit right here. And as you guessed it, we're going to be focusing on yellows, oranges, and reds. And so let's just get to it. I'm going to grab a brush. This is an Utrecht Sablette number 6. I'm going to grab some yellow. And we're going to dive right in. Let me zoom you in just a little bit. There we go. I hope you can see my paints on the side here. I'm going to start with, I've got 3 flowers on here. I'm going to start with this larger one. I'm just going to start at the tip, paint some yellow back in. There we go, just on kind of on all of these petals that we've got. There we go. Simple as that. If I don't have it exactly right here or there, I'm not going to worry too much about it at the moment. Let me mix. Actually, I should do this way. I'm taking colors all the way across my palette. That probably doesn't help me out a whole lot. Here we go. I'm going to mix some orange right in here. I'm going to start at the base and pull that color out. And I want these two to mix and meet kind of in the middle. Excuse me. We're going to go back over this with another layer of paint and put in our detail. I just want to block in some color right now and get these to meet up in the middle. Enjoy a little watercolor happiness here. There we go. And you can put in as much orange, as much yellow as you want. I'm just kind of eyeballing it, what I think I need to see or want to see on here. That looks pretty good to me, and I'm just going to take just a dab of my red here and put just a little bit of extra color right in the center, and I'm going to call that done on that first flower. I don't want to touch it again until I come back to it. I'm going to move up to our next one. I'm going to paint up here. I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to get a little bit of our yellow. Move my palette out of the way just a second. And just grab from the tip of these petals and pull it back. It doesn't have to be in any perfect fashion. We're just blocking in some color at the moment. There we go. The next thing we want to do is take our orange, start at the base. I've got a little too much in there. I don't know, too much. A little too much water in there, I guess is what I got in that one. Not too much color, because that color is going to flow around on that petal and find its own way. And I don't know that that petal is not supposed to have that much orange on it. If we look at our picture, we can see these ones over here. I know it's somewhat a trick of photography. Maybe the light comes to a certain way, but that doesn't matter. Look, this one is so much oranger. This is a lot warmer and yellower, and we've got some reds in here and whatnot. So we're just going to kind of have fun and play with that. We're not going to worry so much about reproducing that picture. We're taking our inspiration from that picture. And if our inspiration says that petal needs more orange on it, well, by golly, that petal is going to get more orange on it. Okay, I'm going to call that one done for just a second. I'm going to move on to my last one. And just going to do the same thing. I'm going to start at the end of that petal and work my way back towards the center of the plant. There we go. I keep drying my brush off. I don't know that I've used this brush very much, and it seems to hold. It's a faux sable brush, like most of my other ones. I had to think for a second if I actually had a actual sable brush. I guess I have a couple of them, but like most of my brushes, it's a faux sable, and I think it does seem to hold quite a bit more water than my other brushes. I keep dabbing it. If you see me move off to the side, I have some towels over there that I dab on. I have another one in my hand here. I suppose I could be dabbing on it. You see me playing here, kind of what I'm doing. I'm just moving some paint around to where I think it ought to be. I don't want to overwork it. I'm trying to get away from overworking my paintings. I don't want them to look like I've labored over these things for hours and hours and hours. And maybe I have, maybe I haven't, but I don't want them to look like that. I want them to look like I've just gone in, slapped some color down, and that's what came out. I want the colors to be vibrant and fresh. I don't want to mix too much. So I think that's where I'm going to stop with this. I've got some dry spots over here, a couple over here where I didn't put a little bit, or I didn't put too much paint down there. So I'm going to come in and start on my background over in those areas. And these are plants. They do have quite a bit of greenery around them, so I'm going to drop in some green. If you've ever seen me do a background before, you know I'm not going to be settling with one color of green in my background. I'm probably going to use 2 or 3 or 4 colors of green. I'm going to do it a little bit mottled here and there, just to give a little bit of life to that background. I've got to wet some of my paints here. This gives me a good time to drop a little bit of water on these while I give this just an extra second to dry. Then I can mix all of my colors out here. There we go. I am trying. I had an opportunity to do a little photoshopping on one of my paintings, and I wasn't even trying to manipulate the color or anything like that. I was trying to cut it down to a different size, and I happened to start playing with the color saturation. I thought it would be kind of fun, and I did a few tricks here and there to see what my painting looked like, and it turned out that and I guess if you've watched some of my videos, it's not too surprising. It turned out that everything was the same kind of, not the same hue, but kind of the same intensity. So I'm now trying to make my foreground, the flowers in this instance, a lot more bright, a lot fuller, a lot richer than my background. So I'm intentionally blending my background down a little bit more, just so it's not all of the same intensity, and hopefully in doing so it'll make the painting a little bit more interesting, and it will help my subject to stand out just a little bit more. We're going to find out together, I guess, whether it's going to work like that or not, but that's my hope. So I'm going to do a little bit of a lighter background on here. Not nearly, oh, I say that and I just put a big giant blue blob right there. Luckily, it's just watercolor. We can grab that and draw that out. I'm going to mix that with some other greens here. There we go. And we can keep that from becoming too intense. There we go. And you can see I'm kind of keeping a nice mottled background in here and still trying to maintain you know, my nice bright petals. I think I've got that right. Yeah, I've got that okay in here. Yes, I know they're probably dry by now. I can get back to work on them. We'll get there in just a second. Just let me get a little bit more color in here. Let's see, I don't know what color did I use. Oh, that's way too much. There we go. I'll get some of that out of there. I might put even a little mix, a little bit of my normal yellow in there. There we go. That's an old Michael thing right there. Putting in all of that color right in there. I just got done saying I don't want to do that, and then blammo. Did it. It's okay. I can unblammo it. Woo! There we go. And we'll give it a little bit of water on the outside. That'll draw some of that color out. Lighten it up just a little bit. I'm going to turn it just a little bit to the other side now. I am, if you see, I am keeping it a fairly light green. I don't want too many crazy colors here. I just did it again. That's alright. This blue blends real nicely. I don't want too many crazy colors or too much darkness on this back, like I said. So we're just going to continue to work this right on around. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Haha! I have my dog out in the studio with me tonight, and she's snoring behind me, as she does. She is a pug and doesn't have much of a snout. As a result, she is a fantastic snorer. She's also very friendly. Her name is Lulu, if you're wondering. Oh, I'm off the screen. What am I doing? I don't even... Her name is Lulu. And she's old. And sleeps a lot. I didn't know much about pugs before we got this pug, other than the fact that they were supposed to be very good with children. And I learned that pugs were lap dogs for the Chinese emperors and were bred specifically to be lap dogs, which is why they have such nice temperaments and are so good around people. There we go. Got a little bit of dampness in there. I'm just going to pick that off. There we go. I like that a lot. Okay, so we're done with the background. We're going to come back in on our foreground. I'm going to mix up. I'm going to move my orange over here. So I've got yellow. Right, I got yellow, I've got orange, and then I'm going to make a red orange here. And then I've got my red over here, of course. There we go. And so I'm going to come back now, and I might have to swap in and out with a little bigger paintbrush and a little smaller paintbrush. The smaller one I'm going to use is my Winsor & Newton University brush, size number 2. And I'm going to give some detail to the petals in here. So I might switch back and forth and I need a little yellow, I might need a little orange, I might need a little red. We'll see. I'm going to go right around that petal, which happens to be in front. And I'm just going to put that color on and blend it out somewhat. There we go, all the way out. And now by doing that, I've just made the petal in front of it kind of stand out. I'm going to do the same thing up here with this one. That's going to go down like that. There we go. A little bit of orange out there. Good, I like that. All right. And how am I doing on time? I'm at 15 minutes. I don't want to make this too long. You know what? I do want a little smaller brush. I can already tell. So I'm just going to go right to my number 2 brush. I'm going to get some orange in here. There we go. And a little bit more red towards the center. And I'm just going to blend some of that right out. See if I can get a nice... Oh, I like that. I like that. A little... Oh, I think I had too much water on that. I liked that. I had that nice red stripe in there. Some nice texture, and then I took it away by having my brush a little too wet. Thankfully, we're working with watercolors. We can just go right back over it and do what we want. We don't have to worry about it in the least. I'm going to come right in here, a little orange and red. I'm going to go right into my yellow. Just pull that right out. Right in here where they all meet up, I'm just going to kind of blend that right together. And I'm going to get my rigger. I don't know what rigger is this. This is a Grumbacher, Winsor Newton Grumbacher, number 2. And I think I can do it on this one. I want a nice orangey red. I'm just going to put in a little bit of a vein in there. Oh, I missed a whole flower in the back. I can look at these two and see they're just not quite there. They're a little bit too wet. I don't want to touch those quite yet. So I'm going to finish this petal. Just going to grab a little bit of, there we go. I don't want to blend out all of my brush strokes, not quite all of my brush strokes. I'm okay doing a lot of them. I certainly don't want to do all of them. I want to be able to leave some there. There we go. Just a hint of some veining in there, and I can move on to the next one. The next one, of course, is smaller, so it should be a little easier to do, go a little bit faster. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to start with this petal. Right there. Come on, I need a little bit more than that. There we go. And I just have to be careful here. If I put any color on this one, oh, I haven't even looked up at the screen in quite a while. I hope you guys can see what I've been doing. I need to be careful that if I do something on this petal that I go around the tip of the one in front of me, it just overlaps just ever so slightly. Oh, and I really hope you've been able to see what I've been doing. I can't tell you how many videos I've started and I get carried away painting, totally focused right here on what I'm doing and forget about you guys. And then I look up at the little screen on my camera and what I'm painting is nowhere to be found. And I'm sure that that's not good for anybody. So I'm going to go in on this one. Now I want to be real careful here. I'm going to pull back a lot of this color. I want to be real careful because I want to be able to put some color in behind it on my last flower. So I want to make this light enough that when I put some dark behind it, it'll still stand out, but I want a little bit of color on there because, of course, I want to enhance that base layer that's there. I don't think that base layer is all that dark, so what we're doing is we're just doing a little bit of an enhancement. Here we go. Something down there. A lot of water, big water drop there when I didn't really want. I'm going to scratch a little bit of this off. Alright, and this one is almost done. Got one back here. My paints are totally drying up on my palette, which is fine. I should say, you notice, if you see my sleeves, I'm wearing a jacket. In my part of the country, here in California, it's already started to turn chilly. I shouldn't say chilly. Our nights are getting chilly. The days are still nice and pleasant. But in the evening, I definitely have to wear a jacket. That's a little fat. I'm going to see if I can dab just a little bit of that off of there. There we go. I think I only had about 3 times the amount of paint on there that I needed. And if you're going to do this, if you're going to put these veins on these, I would encourage you not to put it right down the middle. You put it right down the middle and the flower looks a little flat. It doesn't, while it might, you know, technically be correct, it just loses some of the flare and the flash in the petals. You want some life in there, so don't put it right down the middle. Put it towards the side somewhere, and always do some kind of a little curve. Right? That if it curves a little bit, it's going to look like the leaf is just bent. Instead of being flat, it's going to look like it's bent like that, and it's just going to give a little bit more life to your paintings. You'll be so happy you did that. All right, now this one, I've got a petal in front of it in a couple of places, so I want to paint right around that. I'll make it orangier, orangier, or more orange, orangier. Anybody an English teacher? I know there was some rule about the number of syllables that something could be to make it more of something. But I don't remember what it was. Never mind, we're not in an English class. We are in a painting tutorial. Let's see, just a little bit more. Actually, don't want to make this last one too bright. too intense back there. Not too much. There we go. I'm actually pretty happy with that. I am going to put in a little bit of veining. I need to look to see. I'm trying to look to the side to see how much run I'm going to have. There we go. I think that's about all I'm going to be able to do on that. We got a couple of other things to do here. Let's see. I do actually want to come in and maybe put a little bit more in on the background, but before we do that, we need to mix up a nice strong mix of our yellow here. Maybe even mix in just a bit of this ochre. And once again, I should look up before I do anything. I'm just mixing my yellow here and a little bit of my ochre. And I'm doing the ochre in it because I know that the ochre is a little bit more opaque than my yellow. So I need to come back in and paint in some stamen in here in the center. Something like that. Let's see, is that one dry? I think that one's dry enough. Just need to drop a few of them in here. We don't need to go crazy with it, but a few would be nice. I need to wait just a second on this one, still wet. Then if we look at our picture, we've got these, I don't know what these are. That's where the pollen is, I'm sure. We have those right on the end, and those are just a nice brown, maybe a little bit of a reddish brown color. Just going to mix that up and just drop a few of those on. Just as simple as that. There they are. Has that one dried? I think that one's dried enough. Can put a little bit more of my ochre. There we go. Back into my brown. Maybe it hadn't quite dried enough. That's okay. We can live with that. And what I think I want to do is, I know I said I didn't want to do it, but I want to do it. I'm going to add a little bit of darkness under some of these petals, and I will, promising myself I will, I'm going to pull this out as best I can. I just want to be able to set these off a little bit under a couple of these. Doesn't have to be a lot, doesn't have to be all of them. There we go. I think that helps a little bit. Maybe. They've done nothing but screwed up my color underneath. I don't know. Maybe I'll paint this whole area in there. That thing, a little bit up here. Oh. There we go. I think that actually looks better. Just that little bit of extra color on there. Just to set a couple of these off. I don't need to do it on all of them, but a couple here and there actually helps make it look better, I think. I'm going to sign this one. Oh, maybe I'm going to sign this one. My pen's not working. Alright, my favorite pen is not working. Let me grab one from over here. There it is. Sign that one. We're going to call it good. I hope you had fun painting with me tonight. I had fun painting with you. I hope you enjoy the irises. I hope you give it a try on your own. If you do, let me know how it turns out. I would love to hear from you. And if you like this, go ahead and click the like button down there. Share it with your friends if you like. Subscribe to my channel. I would love to see you back here in the studio painting with me another time. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.